The rain came down in sheets so heavy it blurred the highway into a trembling ribbon of gray, and in that relentless downpour a single moment waited quietly, ready to change several lives forever. The wipers of the truck beat a tired rhythm as Michael Harris guided 40 tons of steel through the storm, unaware that before the night ended, one decision made in a heartbeat would echo far beyond the wet asphalt stretching ahead of him. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and the quiet power of human compassion, take a moment right now to like this video, share it with someone who needs hope, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel so more stories like this can reach hearts that need them. Michael had been a long-haul truck driver for nearly 2 decades, crisscrossing the United States from Ohio to Texas, from Arizona to the Carolinas, living between rest stops and delivery deadlines. Life on the road had carved deep lines into his face and a deeper solitude into his heart. Years earlier, a sudden illness had taken his wife, Rebecca, leaving him with an ache that never fully healed and a routine that helped him avoid thinking too much. Driving was simple, predictable, and safe in its own lonely way. That night, as he pushed through a thunderstorm on a rural stretch of Missouri highway, he was thinking only about making it to the next depot before dawn. Then he saw them on the shoulder of the road. At first, they were only vague shapes in the rain, silhouettes hunched against the wind. As he drew closer, the shapes sharpened into a family walking without shelter, soaked to the bone. A man struggled under a broken umbrella, a woman clutched a thin jacket around herself, and between them walked 2 small children, their shoes splashing through puddles far too deep for their size. They moved with the slow determination of people who had no better option. Michael felt a tightening in his chest, the kind that came when something familiar and painful stirred deep inside him. He slowed his truck, wrestling with the weight of the moment. Company policies warned against stopping, against liability, against risk. The road was dangerous, visibility poor, and the storm unforgiving. He had deadlines to meet and rules to follow. But as he passed them, he caught a clearer glimpse of their faces, pale with cold, eyes fixed on the ground, shoulders sagging beneath exhaustion. The youngest child stumbled, nearly falling, and something inside Michael broke through years of carefully built emotional walls. He remembered standing alone in a hospital hallway long ago, wishing someone, anyone, would help him feel less lost. Michael pulled over a short distance ahead, his heart pounding louder than the rain against the cab. The storm soaked him instantly as he stepped down, but he barely noticed. The family approached cautiously, fear and surprise mixing in their expressions. Their names were Thomas and Sarah Walker, and their children were Jacob and Noah. They had been traveling to stay with relatives after losing their apartment when Thomas's factory closed without warning. Their car had broken down miles back, and with no money for a tow and no shelter nearby, walking had seemed like the only choice. The inside of the truck cab became a small island of warmth and light in the darkness. Steam rose from wet clothes, and the hum of the engine wrapped around them like a promise that, for the moment, they were safe. Michael listened as the storm raged outside, feeling the weight of responsibility settle onto his shoulders. He knew he could not simply drive them anywhere, that his route and his load mattered, but he also knew he could not turn away now that their story had entered his life. He drove them to the nearest town, a place small enough that the rain felt louder there, pounding against quiet streets and closed storefronts. At a modest roadside motel, Michael paid for 2 nights without hesitation, remembering the nights he had spent staring at motel ceilings after Rebecca's passing, wondering how life could change so completely without asking permission. He made a few phone calls from his truck, using contacts he had built over years on the road, and found a local church that offered emergency assistance. By morning, the storm had eased into a soft drizzle, and with it came a fragile sense of possibility. For the Walkers, the help felt unreal, like a kindness too large to trust at first. Yet doors continued to open. The church helped Thomas connect with temporary work, and Sarah found part-time hours at a nearby diner. The children were enrolled in school, their laughter slowly returning as routine replaced fear. Michael, back on the road, carried their faces with him mile after mile, feeling something he had not felt in years. The loneliness that once pressed against him during long drives now felt lighter, as though purpose had quietly reclaimed its place beside him in the cab. Months later, a letter waited at a truck stop addressed in careful handwriting. Inside were photos of Jacob and Noah smiling in front of a small rented house, Thomas in work boots and a hard hat, and Sarah holding a key ring with pride. The words thanked Michael not as a hero, but as a reminder that one choice, made without expectation, could change everything. He sat there for a long time, rain tapping softly on the windshield once again, feeling tears he did not bother to hide. If this story touched your heart, if it reminded you that even in the worst storms kindness can become a lifeline, please take a moment to engage with this video, because your support helps these stories of hope continue to be told. Before the ending, we'd truly love to hear from you, so please comment below and share what this story made you feel or a moment when kindness changed your life. That night on the highway became more than a memory for Michael, it became proof that compassion does not need to be loud or recognized to be powerful. Sometimes it is simply a truck pulling over in the rain, a door opening, and a life choosing to care when it would have been easier to drive on.